Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Productivity Boosters and Stress Reducers podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Heeb, and I can't thank you enough for listening in. Each episode, I will discuss a new tip or trick that will help you to live a productive and efficient life, professionally and personally. If you're ready to find your productivity rhythm, relieve stress, and meet your goals faster, then this is the podcast for you. This podcast is sponsored by Your Choice Concierge, created to make your life easier by providing flexible hourly, personal, and professional assistance. Let us handle your busy tasks so you can focus on what's important. You can learn more about Your Choice Concierge by clicking the link in the description. This week's episode is all about staying motivated. Motivation can also be called our driving force. It provides the energy and enthusiasm we need to take action and make progress towards our desired goals or outcomes. It ensures that you're committed to achieving them. Without motivation, it's easy to lose interest or give up when we're faced with challenges or setbacks. If you're motivated, you're more likely to bounce back from setbacks and adapt to overcome obstacles. Motivation also fosters a positive mindset, often characterized by optimism, confidence, and self-belief. This optimistic outlook enables you to approach challenges with a can-do attitude, and you'll see setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than barriers. Motivation also plays a crucial role in enhancing your productivity. It's what drives you to initiate, sustain, and complete your tasks efficiently and effectively. If you're motivated, you're more likely to take the initiative to start tasks without procrastination, and you're more likely to maintain a consistent effort over time. Motivated individuals are also more engaged, adaptable, and collaborative, which leads to a higher quality of work and overall efficiency. Many people don't know this, but there are two main types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Each type influences behavior in different ways. Intrinsic motivation refers to engaging in an activity for the inherent satisfaction or the enjoyment it brings you, rather than for external rewards or consequences. It is typically driven by factors like personal interest, curiosity, or a sense of fulfillment. It fosters a sense of autonomy and self-determination, as you feel a sense of control over your choices and actions. This type of motivation leads to more sustained engagement and higher levels of creativity or innovation. You're more likely to persist in challenging tasks and exert greater effort because you find the activity inherently rewarding. It also fosters a deep sense of fulfillment, leading to greater satisfaction and, again, well-being. Eccentric motivation, the other type, involves engaging in an activity to obtain external rewards or avoid punishments, rather than for that inherent enjoyment, like is provided with intrinsic, This type of motivation, these are mouthfuls. Eccentric motivation is driven by external factors like rewards, praise, recognition, or other tangible outcomes. This can include money, good grades, social approval, or career advancement, just to name a few. This motivation is more effective in regards to encouraging behavioral changes or compliance in the short term, but it may not lead to long-term changes. Of course, the effectiveness of the rewards will depend on their perceived value and the relevance to, a person's individual goals or needs. AKA not one size fits all when it comes to reward and motivation. Sometimes when there's an over-reliance on eccentric rewards, it does undermine the motivation and can actually lead to a decrease in motivation. I want to make sure that you understand motivation and the psychology of it. It is crucial to really grasp the concept of motivation before you can become more motivated. This includes diving into various factors that influence your drive, your persistence, and the direction when you're pursuing your goals. There are three key factors I want to focus on. That's goal setting, that's rewards, and that's autonomy. First, let's jump into goal setting. It is a key factor regarding motivation for several reasons. Setting goals will give you more direction and focus. It provides clear direction, gives you a specific target to aim for, and helps you to prioritize. This reduces the ambiguity of your task, your goals, and helps you to focus your efforts. Setting goals also gives you benchmarks, and this will allow you to track your progress, which makes it easier to see how far you've come and what still needs to be done. All of this will help you to stay committed and persist through challenges. If you're not sure that goal setting will help with your motivation, try sharing your goals with others to create a sense of accountability. Some people become more motivated when they want to meet the expectations of their family or their peers or even a mentor. It's also important to celebrate your accomplishments when you achieve a goal. Achieving the goals you set for yourself will increase your belief in your ability to succeed, which in turn enhances your motivation for future tasks. If you're new to goal setting, or want to make sure you're doing it effectively so that you're actually enhancing your motivation, I suggest you start by just defining what you want to achieve as clearly as possible. Don't be vague. For example, instead of saying, I want to get fit, you should say, I want to run a 5K race in 3 months. Next, make sure your goals are measurable and that they are time-bound. And again, be specific. Say, for example, I want to save $1,000 in the next 6 months, rather than just say, I want to save money. Having this timeline creates a sense of urgency and helps you stay on track. You also want to make sure your goals are realistic and achievable. This doesn't mean your goals have to be easy. There's nothing wrong with a good challenge. But you need to consider your current situation and your resources when you're setting goals. For example, don't set a goal of reading 1 book a week when you don't have a lot of free time. A more realistic goal might be to read 1 book a month. It's also helpful to write your goals down and to divide those large goals into smaller actionable tasks. I've said this before if you've listened to previous podcasts, but doing both of these things will make achieving your goals easier and actually make them tangible. This serves as a reminder of what you want to accomplish and also keeps you from becoming overwhelmed and losing that motivation. It's okay if you plan them out and it doesn't go exactly as planned. Life can be unpredictable, so don't be too hard on yourself and be open to the idea of adjusting your goals or adjusting those plans if circumstances in your life change. But by following some of these tips, you can set effective goals that will enhance your motivation and increase the likelihood of achieving your desired outcomes. The next point I want to discuss is the reward system, which is also a key factor in terms of motivation. Rewards serve as a positive reinforcement. They encourage the repetition of desired behaviors by providing a tangible benefit. When you associate specific actions with those positive outcomes or some type of reward, you increase the likelihood of those actions being repeated. The act, as an incentive, is motivating you to put in more effort. For example, when you receive a reward for completing a goal, it enhances your feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment, which reinforces the effort you invested in completing that goal. The anticipation and the receipt of the rewards is what triggers the release of dopamine in your brain, which enhances your mood. So these positive feelings also improve your overall emotional well-being, which in turn also directly contributes to that long-term motivation. But rewards should be used strategically. If you want them to effectively motivate desired behaviors and achieve better outcomes, it's important to understand an individual's preferences and needs to ensure that those rewards are meaningful and motivating. For example, an employee who values work-life balance might be more motivated by flexible work hours or extra vacation days rather than a monetary bonus. So just keep that in mind when using the reward system in regards to motivation. Again, not one size fits all. So the last key factor of motivation I want to touch on is autonomy. It is important in regards to motivation because it enhances your sense of control. It enhances your sense of responsibility and your engagement. It empowers you by giving you the freedom to make choices about how you approach your work or your personal projects. Now, this sense of control can significantly boost your motivation because it makes you feel more in control of your outcomes. When you're not micromanaged, it promotes a more positive and proactive attitude and mindset. Let's face it, we've all experienced it at some point in our lives and know that being micromanaged can be extremely demotivating. With autonomy, we are able to take ownership of our tasks or projects, which in turn leads to a deeper commitment and higher levels of that intrinsic motivation. It encourages personal accountability, and it allows us to understand that our efforts directly impact our results. This drives us to work harder and more efficiently. Autonomy also allows us to tackle our tasks in ways that are more meaningful to ourselves, which also increases that engagement in that task or that project. This can include things like flexibility and adaptability in our work environment as well. This leads to a greater sense of fulfillment and higher productivity, which is naturally more motivating. If you've listened to my previous podcast, you know that I'm a big believer in work-life balance, and autonomy is an important piece of that. When we have autonomy and are able to balance work and life in a way that works best for us, we naturally are increasing our overall well-being and our motivation. Okay, now, even with all of this information I just gave you, I know it can be a challenge to stay motivated, especially over long periods of time or through more difficult tasks and projects. So, that being said, I want to spend a minute or two just sharing my top tips for staying motivated. First off, again, make sure you're setting clear and achievable goals. As I discussed before, if your goals are big goals, make sure to break them down into smaller, manageable tasks. Make them less overwhelming. If you try to take on too much, it will definitely decrease your motivation. Next, I always suggest creating an action plan. Outline the specific steps you will take to achieve your goals or your project. You can even set specific deadlines for each step, which will help keep you on track. As you complete each step, you should feel a sense of accomplishment, which in turn should increase your motivation and your willingness to keep going to complete the project. You can even reward yourself for each step completed for additional motivation. Okay, and last but certainly not least, you should try to discover your own personal motivation triggers. Like I said before, this is not one size fits all. You should identify what inspires and motivates you. It's not an exact science, and what motivates someone else may not motivate you. So I can't give specific examples when it comes to what exactly you should do to stay motivated. But hopefully this will give you a general sense. If you're not sure where to start, simply think back and reflect on times that you felt highly motivated and engaged. What were you doing? What aspects of those experiences made you feel driven? You could also keep a journal to track your energy levels and your moods throughout the day. Take note of what activities, environments, or interactions boost your energy and or what drains it. Keeping track of that will help you discover what it is that will keep you motivated. Positive emotional responses are strong indicators of motivation triggers. So, those things that you note that boost your energy and your mood are things you should remember when thinking about motivation. You can also identify the times of day which you feel most energetic and motivated. After this, you can align your most challenging tasks with these peak times to enhance that motivation. Hopefully, these tips can help you identify and harness your personal motivation triggers and make it easier for you to stay engaged, stay productive, and stay driven. That's all for this week's episode of Productivity Boosters and Stress Reducers. Be sure to check back soon for our next episode. I'll be discussing stress management. If you want to learn more about staying motivated, have feedback about this episode, or a specific topic you'd like to hear about in the future, please email me at info@yourchoice-concierge.com. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you also subscribe to the Your Choice Concierge YouTube channel, where you can find some examples of the tips and tricks I discuss on the show. Thanks again for listening. I'm Stephanie Heeb, and I hope you'll join me next time for more tips and tricks to live a productive and efficient life, professionally and personally. Have you considered starting your own podcast but haven't had the time? Check out Buzzsprout. They make launching and managing your podcast effortless. Trust me, if I can do it, anyone can. Clicking the Buzzsprout link in the description will let them know we sent you and get you a $20 Amazon gift card if you decide to sign up for a paid plan. Thanks again to our sponsor, Your Choice Concierge. Until next time, productive people.